Japan, the land of order and elegance, cherry blossoms that paint the streets pink every spring, shimmering neon towers that light up the night like a futuristic dream. To the world, it's a paradise of peace, precision, and politeness. A nation that seems to have perfected the art of life itself. But what if I told you that this perfection comes with a hidden cost? That behind the smiles, the structure, and the silence lies a world of invisible pain? Here, trains never run late, not even by a minute. Streets are spotless, and crime seems almost non-existent. Yet beneath this calm surface, millions struggle under pressures most outsiders could never imagine. Every action, every word, every breath is shaped by expectations. To succeed, to obey, to never break the harmony. Japan is the only country where there's an official word for dying from overwork. Karoshi, where loneliness has become an epidemic and people vanish into isolation for years, unseen by anyone. A place where silence isn't peace, it's survival. The travel guides show a nation of beauty and balance. But there's another Japan, one hidden behind closed doors, where perfection turns into prison. In this journey, we'll uncover the truths that few dare to speak about. The real Japan, the one beyond the postcard smiles and the shimmering city lights, because the deeper you look, the darker it gets. In Japan, perfection isn't just admired, it's required. From the moment a child enters school, they're taught that mistakes are unacceptable. Classrooms run with military precision. Uniforms are spotless, handwriting must be flawless, and silence is a sign of respect. A single error in a test can bring tears, not because of punishment, but because of shame. This pressure only intensifies with age. High school students often study until midnight, attending juku, after-school cram centers, just to keep up. The goal isn't learning, it's surviving in a system where being average feels like failure. University entrance exams are so demanding that families plan their entire lives around them. When these children grow up, they enter workplaces that demand the same ruthless perfection. Every detail must be correct. Every bow, every report, every word. To make a mistake isn't just unprofessional, it's dishonorable. That's why many Japanese workers stay late into the night, polishing tasks that are already perfect. This obsession builds a nation that functions flawlessly, but at a human cost. Anxiety, exhaustion, and silent breakdowns become part of everyday life. In Japan, perfection is not a goal. It's a burden, one that millions quietly carry, afraid to ever set it down. In most countries, dying from exhaustion sounds impossible. In Japan, it has a name, karoshi. It means death by overwork, and it's not a rare tragedy. It's a social epidemic. Each year, thousands of Japanese workers collapse from heart attacks, strokes, or suicide, all linked to endless hours on the job. Some work more than 100 hours of overtime every month. Others sleep just 3 or 4 hours a night, living on caffeine and silent desperation. It's not greed that drives them, it's loyalty. The company is seen as a family, and devotion to it is a moral duty. Leaving before your boss is taboo. Taking time off feels selfish. Even illness isn't an excuse. Employees often return to work days after hospitalization. When death comes, corporations issue public apologies. But the cycle never stops. In 2015, a 24-year-old advertising employee took her own life after logging more than 100 hours of overtime. Her story shocked the nation, yet thousands followed in silence. Japan's work ethic built an economic miracle. But behind every shining skyscraper are workers burning themselves to the ground to keep it running. Because in Japan, hard work isn't just respected, it's worshipped. And like all worship, it demands sacrifice. In a country built on discipline and politeness, You might expect community to thrive, but in Japan, millions are quietly drowning in loneliness. Despite crowded cities and endless technology, human connection is fading fast. People bow, smile, and move on, without ever truly speaking. The phenomenon has a name: hikikomori. It describes those who shut themselves away, locking their doors and withdrawing from the world for months, sometimes years. There are more than 1 million of them. Many are young adults who failed school exams or lost jobs. Others are older, forgotten by family and society alike. Inside small apartments, they survive through online worlds, video games, and food deliveries, their only link to life outside. It's not just the recluses. Across Japan, loneliness has become a silent epidemic. Robot pets and virtual partners fill emotional gaps that real relationships once held. Elderly people die alone in apartments, undiscovered for weeks. And yet, speaking about loneliness still feels shameful, as if admitting it breaks the social code of endurance. On the surface, Japan is calm, efficient, and beautifully polite. But beneath that calm, millions ache for something they've forgotten how to ask for: simple, human connection. Because in Japan, silence is golden, even when it hurts. At the foot of Mount Fuji lies a place of haunting beauty, a vast, silent woodland called Aokigahara. Tourists know it as the Sea of Trees, but the world knows it by a darker name: the Suicide Forest. It's one of the most infamous suicide sites on Earth. Every year, authorities recover hundreds of bodies from its depths. The forest is so dense that sunlight barely reaches the ground, and so quiet that even the wind seems afraid to whisper. Compasses malfunction. Cell signals vanish. It's as if the forest itself wants you to get lost. Locals avoid it. Signs at the entrance plead with visitors: your life is a precious gift. But still, people come. Some bring tents. Others leave behind notes, photos, or rope. Traces of despair left between ancient trees. Many are drawn by guilt, financial ruin, or the crushing shame of failure. In Japan, where mental illness carries stigma, death can feel like the only way to escape disgrace. Aokigahara is not just a forest, it's a mirror, reflecting Japan's deep mental health crisis and the silence that surrounds it. Every tree seems to hold a story no one ever told, every path leading to a truth few dare to face. Because in Japan, even the most beautiful places can hide the darkest pain. Tokyo's streets look flawless: polished sidewalks, orderly crowds, not a trace of chaos. But that perfection hides a truth few ever notice. Japan has a homeless population that almost no one sees. Unlike in many countries, Japan's homeless rarely beg, shout, or draw attention. They live quietly, often sleeping in parks, train stations, or under bridges. Cardboard boxes become homes, folded neatly to blend in. Belongings are stacked in perfect order. Even in poverty, dignity must be maintained. There are an estimated 4,000 officially counted homeless people, but experts believe the real number is far higher. Many hide their status out of shame. Most are older men, former salarymen who lost their jobs during economic downturns or after illness. In a society that values self-reliance, asking for help feels disgraceful. So they disappear from their families, choosing isolation over humiliation. Authorities rarely intervene unless encampments become visible. Citizens pass by without looking, preserving the illusion that homelessness doesn't exist here. Japan's obsession with cleanliness and order doesn't just shape its cities, it hides its suffering. Because in Japan, even poverty must be silent, invisible and polite. Japan appears modern, advanced, and forward-thinking. But when it comes to gender equality, the reality is startlingly outdated. Despite being one of the world's richest nations, Japan ranks among the lowest in gender equality across developed countries. Women make up nearly half the workforce, yet only around 10% hold managerial positions. From an early age, girls are taught that humility is virtue. Ambition, assertiveness, or leadership are often labeled unfeminine. Many women are expected to quit their jobs after marriage or childbirth, a tradition known as matahara. Maternity harassment. Those who choose career over family face subtle punishment, isolation, stalled promotions, and whispered judgment. Even in politics, female representation remains shockingly low. In 2024, women held less than 15% of seats in Japan's parliament, far below global averages. And yet, the image of the cheerful, hard-working woman is celebrated everywhere, from anime characters to pop idols, reinforcing the idea that women must be cute, quiet, and compliant. Japan's high-tech skyline hides a social system still bound by centuries-old gender roles. Women serve tea in boardrooms, defer to male superiors, and smile through inequality. It's a nation where progress and patriarchy coexist, beautifully balanced on the surface, but deeply unbalanced beneath. Because in Japan, equality looks modern, but feels ancient. Japan is often praised as the land of convenience, where vending machines serve hot meals, trains arrive to the second, and 24-hour stores light up every street corner. But behind this flawless efficiency lies a hidden cost: exhaustion, loneliness, and a growing dependence on artificial comfort. Convenience in Japan isn't just a lifestyle. It's a coping mechanism. Overworked employees buy dinner from vending machines. Students eat alone in capsule diners designed for one. Even relationships are replaced by convenience, with rent-a-friend services, cuddle cafes, and lifelike virtual partners filling the emotional voids people are too tired to face. Every aspect of life is engineered for solitude. Automated checkouts, robotic hotel clerks, and prepackaged meals ensure you never need to interact with anyone. It's efficiency without humanity. And while it seems futuristic, it's slowly eroding real connection. This obsession with smooth perfection has made life mechanical. Everything functions flawlessly, yet people feel increasingly empty. Japan's convenience culture promises happiness, but delivers silence. Because when a society makes life too easy, it also makes it too lonely. In Japan, work isn't just a duty, it's an identity. From the moment a person joins a company, loyalty becomes a lifetime promise. The average Japanese employee works some of the longest hours in the world, often staying late not because they must, but because leaving early looks shameful. There's even a word for it: karoshi, death by overwork. Heart attacks, strokes, and suicides caused by exhaustion are officially recognized causes of death in Japan. In one shocking case, a 24-year-old journalist died after logging more than 150 overtime hours in a single month. Her death wasn't an accident. It was a reflection of a culture that glorifies sacrifice. Many sleep in tiny pods near train stations, too tired to return home. Some even pretend to work just to match their boss's schedule. Vacations are rarely taken, and taking sick leave is viewed as weakness. It's not uncommon for employees to collapse at their desks, only to be praised for their dedication. Japan's economy thrives on discipline, but it's powered by exhaustion. The human cost remains hidden behind polite smiles and pressed suits, because in Japan, working yourself to death isn't failure, it's honor. Japan is growing old, faster than any other country on Earth. Nearly 1 in 3 citizens is over the age of 65. Streets are filled with gray heads, not children's laughter. And in some rural towns, schools have closed because there are no students left. This aging crisis is more than demographic. It's emotional. Many elderly Japanese live entirely alone. Their children, consumed by work, visit rarely. Some die unnoticed, their bodies found weeks or months later. There's even a word for it: kodokushi, lonely death. The government has built robot caregivers and retirement homes, but machines can't replace love. Abandoned by families and forgotten by society, many elderly resort to desperate acts just to find human connection. In recent years, thousands of senior citizens have deliberately committed petty crimes: theft, shoplifting, just to be sent to prison, where they'll have food, company, and someone to talk to. In Japan, the prisons have become nursing homes, not because of crime, but because of loneliness. The world sees Japan's order and progress. But beneath that calm surface lies a generation fading quietly, dying not from poverty, but from isolation. Because in Japan, even death has become polite, predictable, and painfully alone. While the elderly struggle to survive, Japan's younger generation faces a different kind of crisis, one of disillusionment. Many of them have stopped dreaming. They've seen their parents work themselves to exhaustion, sacrificing happiness for stability. Now, they no longer want to play that game. They're called the Satori generation, named after the Buddhist word for enlightenment. But their enlightenment isn't spiritual. It's resignation. They've given up on marriage, home ownership, and even ambition. They prefer peace over progress, simplicity over struggle. Many live with their parents well into adulthood, avoiding the pressures of career and competition. Japan's youth unemployment remains low, but that's deceptive. Millions work part-time or in low-paying freeter jobs, rejecting the traditional corporate path. For them, life isn't about climbing the ladder, it's about escaping it. The irony is haunting. In a nation built on discipline and success, its youth now seek meaning in withdrawal. They're not lazy, they're tired of pretending. Because in Japan, giving up isn't rebellion, it's survival. Across Japan, millions have vanished. Not physically, but socially. They're called hikikomori, people who shut themselves inside their rooms for months, even years, refusing all contact with the outside world. Experts estimate that over 1 million Japanese live this way, trapped in silent isolation. Many are young men once full of potential, students, employees, or sons who couldn't handle the crushing expectations of society. A single failure, a lost job, a bad grade. And they retreat. Curtains closed, phones off, doors locked. Parents quietly leave meals at the door, too ashamed to ask for help. Some hikikomori haven't seen sunlight in over a decade. Psychologists call it a social disorder. But deeper than that, it's a cultural wound, born from Japan's perfectionism, shame culture, and pressure to conform. The hikikomori phenomenon exposes a truth Japan rarely admits. Success here isn't about happiness. It's about endurance. And when endurance breaks, people simply disappear. Japan's government now funds programs to coax them out, offering counseling and job training. But for many, rejoining society feels impossible. They've become ghosts, alive but unseen. Because in Japan, disappearing is easier than disappointing. In a country where loneliness is everywhere but rarely spoken of, Japan has turned even isolation into an industry. It's called the loneliness economy, a growing network of services built to fill the emotional voids of everyday life. Here, you can rent a friend, a girlfriend, or even a fake family for a day. Companies offer professional listeners who sit silently as you share your troubles. Some actors are hired to attend weddings, pretending to be guests, so no one knows how alone you truly are. Others are paid to apologize on behalf of clients who can't face confrontation. These services aren't cheap, but they're thriving. Because in Japan, loneliness isn't treated as a problem to solve. It's a market to serve. It's a strange paradox. A nation that values harmony and connection has built an entire economy on simulated relationships. Behind the smiles of these rented companions lies a silent truth. Human connection has become a product, not a feeling. In a world so efficient, even love has been outsourced. Because in Japan, people don't just buy food, shelter, or comfort. They buy the illusion of being cared for. Japan's streets may look orderly, but behind the calm lies one of the world's quietest mental health crises. Depression is widespread, yet rarely discussed. Admitting emotional pain is often seen as weakness, a failure to endure. So, people suffer in silence. Doctors estimate that millions live with untreated depression, hidden beneath polite smiles and daily routines. Antidepressant prescriptions remain low, not because people are healthy, but because stigma keeps them from seeking help. In workplaces, exhaustion is mistaken for dedication. In schools, sadness is labeled as laziness. And in families, emotional distance replaces understanding. Even language reflects this silence. There isn't a direct word for mental breakdown. Instead, there's gamen, the act of enduring hardship without complaint. It's considered noble to hide pain, to push through quietly. But that same restraint is destroying lives. The government has tried to raise awareness, yet suicide rates remain among the highest in the developed world. Mental health care exists, but reaching out for it feels taboo. Depression, in Japan, doesn't always scream for help. It whispers behind closed doors. It smiles through the pain. It keeps going, day after day, in a nation where appearing fine matters more than feeling alive. Because here, silence isn't just cultural, it's deadly. In Japan, image is everything. From how you dress to how you bow, society judges every detail. The idea of tatame, the public face, and hon, the true self, defines daily life. People learn to hide what they really feel, showing only what's acceptable. Authenticity becomes a private luxury. Perfection, a public duty. Children grow up knowing that appearance is reputation. A wrinkled shirt, a raised voice, a wrong word, all can stain one's image. Adults spend hours maintaining a flawless exterior, from grooming to manners, because in Japan, how you are seen is who you are. Even failure must look graceful. Social media has intensified this obsession. Platforms like Instagram and Line are filled with curated perfection. Spotless homes, smiling faces, expensive meals. But behind every post lies exhaustion. The need to appear successful has replaced the desire to be happy. Plastic surgery clinics thrive. Beauty salons for men are common. Even job interviews assess how you sit, smile, and breathe. It's a culture that rewards the mask more than the person beneath it. And so, Japan's cities shine. Bright, organized, elegant. But that glow comes from millions wearing invisible masks, terrified of imperfection. Because in Japan, looking right often matters more than living right. Silence. In Japan, it's more than a habit. It's a way of life. From classrooms to boardrooms, silence is seen as respect, humility, and self-control. But what happens when silence becomes a prison? In Japanese culture, speaking out, whether against a boss, a teacher, or even injustice, is considered disruptive. People are taught from childhood to avoid causing meiwaku, meaning trouble, for others. The result is a society that values harmony so deeply that truth often suffocates beneath it. Victims of workplace harassment, school bullying, or domestic abuse rarely come forward. They fear shame, not justice. Whistleblowers are isolated. Employees endure impossible workloads in silence rather than risk dishonoring their company. Even within families, emotional struggles go unspoken, replaced by polite nods and rehearsed smiles. This culture of silence protects appearances, but kills accountability. Problems don't disappear. They hide, growing quietly in the shadows. It's why Japan's social issues often seem invisible to outsiders. The streets are clean, the people polite. But beneath that calm lies everything unsaid. And yet, silence has its limits. When too many voices are buried, pressure builds. Eventually, even the quietest society begins to tremble. Because no nation, no matter how disciplined, can live forever without truth. The world sees Japan's calm as strength. But sometimes silence isn't peace. It's pain. Japan, a nation admired for its order, beauty, and grace. From cherry blossoms to bullet trains, the world sees perfection. But behind that calm surface lies a truth few dare to face. Every smile, every bow, every act of politeness conceals something deeper. A quiet endurance that defines an entire people. For generations, Japan has built its identity on discipline, respect, and harmony. Yet that same harmony has come at a human cost. The pressure to perform, the fear of imperfection, the silence that swallows pain. Here, success is measured not by happiness, but by how well one hides their struggles. It's a nation where loneliness walks beside progress, and exhaustion hides behind politeness. A place where the light of modernity casts some of the darkest shadows of human isolation. But within that struggle lies something profoundly human. Resilience, the strength to endure, to persist, to keep going, even when the world feels unbearable. Japan's story isn't just one of darkness. It's one of silent strength. So the next time you see Tokyo's glowing skyline or the stillness of a temple garden, remember this. Behind the serenity lies a story untold. A story of people who live, suffer, and survive behind the mask of perfection. Because the shocking truth about life in Japan is that even in the most disciplined society on earth, the human heart still longs to be free.